person needs a half a gallon of water a day to survive, a gallon if also considering sanitation. For anyone who finds themselves in an emergency where drinking water is not available, the average home already has a pretty substantial supply of fresh, clean drinking water stored away in the hot water heater. A typical water heater will supply a family of 4 with enough water for over a week. But there are a couple of things that you should consider before and during an emergency. First, it makes sense to have a hose on hand to connect to the drain spout. This will make filling small containers much easier. Second, sediment can accumulate at the bottom of the tank over time. It is best to flush a few gallons out every few months to avoid having to filter the water in an emergency. If an emergency were to occur, shut off the incoming supply. Don't open it until you know the incoming water is safe to drink. Finally, opening a hot water faucet will relieve any air obstructions, allowing water to flow freely.
You know, you may have an enemy building up inside your water heater. It's called sediment.
Sediment is dirt.
You know, you may have an enemy building up inside your water heater. It's called sediment.
Sediment is dirt, sand, or minerals that are suspended in your household water supply. Over time, these materials can settle out and accumulate as deposits on the bottom of the tank, cutting down on burner efficiency. Incoming water can stir up the sediment and send it to faucets, aerators, shower heads, dishwashers, clothes washing machines, and any other water-using appliance in the house. In fact, a stuttering or slow-running faucet or shower head can almost always be traced to accumulated sediment or debris. This material can also collect in washing machine filters and, in extreme cases, can severely reduce or even cut off the water supply. One solution to this problem is to periodically drain and flush the water heater. Here's how. The first step is to turn the burner control knob to the pilot position. This prevents the burner from turning on, but will keep the pilot lit. Next, turn off the cold water supply. Then open a hot water tap at a sink higher than the water heater. Connect a garden hose to the drain spigot at the bottom of the water heater. If the unit is above grade, simply run the hose outside or into a convenient drain. On the other hand, if the heater is located in a basement where there is no sump or floor drain, you'll need to pump the water out. A small portable pump like this one is ideal for the purpose. With the drain hose in place and ready to go, open the spigot at the bottom of the tank. The hot water faucet opened earlier will break any vacuum that might form inside the tank and allow the water to flow out more freely. In most cases, along with the water that's draining from the tank, will come evidence of the sediment that's collected inside. Sometimes there can be so much sediment that it completely blocks the drain spigot. If that happens, there may be no choice but to remove the spigot completely and clear the blockage, allowing the water to drain into a container and pumping or siphoning it from there. Even though the water supply to the tank is shut off, there can be considerable pressure just from the volume of water stored inside the tank. The larger the container, the better. In some cases, you may find telltale bits of plastic coming out along with the water and sediment. This is the result of a deteriorated dip tube inside the tank. The dip tube is intended to direct the incoming water to the bottom of the water heater. Back in the mid-90s, some water heater manufacturers unknowingly installed defective dip tubes in thousands of water heaters. Over time, these tubes disintegrated, leaving chips and pieces of plastic on the bottom of the tank. If you do find this kind of evidence, the solution is to remove the deteriorated dip tube and replace it. Disconnect the incoming water supply at the top of the water heater. Then, using the cushion grip handle on a pair of pliers, carefully remove the old dip tube. You can see that this one is severely deteriorated. Replacement dip tubes are available from hardware stores and home improvement centers. Typically, they're straight. But by applying some gentle heat, you can put a bend in the end, which causes the incoming water to enter in a swirling motion that can help keep suspended minerals from settling out. Before installing the new dip tube, put a mark on the top indicating the direction of the bend. This will allow you to orient it properly as you install it. With the new dip tube in place, apply Teflon tape to the pipe fittings and reconnect the water supply line. Since we had to remove the valve at the bottom in order to drain the tank, I'm going to replace it with a ball valve, which features a clear, straight opening, something that can come in very handy, as you'll see in a moment. With the new valve installed, I reattach the hose, turn on the water supply temporarily, and begin flushing any remaining sediment out of the tank. It's not long before more dislodged material has obstructed the water flow. However, now we can insert a screwdriver or wire coat hanger directly through the center of the ball valve and clear the blockage. I continue turning the water supply on and off, flushing and reflushing the tank until the water coming out of the hose is clear. Finally, I shut the drain valve, remove the hose, turn on the water supply, and twist the gas valve from pilot to on. When I do this, I leave a faucet or two open to allow air to escape as the tank and water lines fill.
Thanks to a good draining and flushing, this water heater won't be battling sediment for a while. And that can mean lower energy bills, more hot water, and a longer lifespan for the tank.